brushing up on my attacking skills and doing my best not to panic when things don't go my way. Welcome fellow Clashers to Clash of Clans Attacks, and I apologize for the slightly hoarse voice. It was another long night last night, but we are here once again and we will get through it together. And we are talking about keeping sharp and trying not to panic while raiding. Now, as you may have known, I am off on a trip to Helsinki, Finland and the Nordics. The trip just about wrapping up, but I really haven't had an opportunity to attack that much. We've been very busy doing other things, and so I've gotten a little bit rusty, and I've mostly been stuck just defending. Now, I do win from time to time, and we're looking at a recent defensive replay here. Now, I have been talking a lot recently about how overpowered the tank meta is, and what I mean by that is the mass golem attacks are just really steamrolling through bases like this, but this attacker has chosen to bring 4 witches, and witches and multi-target infernos, they just don't mix, especially when the golems split up and move out towards those defensive structures, leaving the witches unprotected along with the archer queen. And watch as they move in, they get within range of that multi-targeting inferno. Now the first freeze spell, or the last freeze spell I should say, does work, but watch this, as soon as it unfreezes, that inferno goes to work on the witches themselves, and that's the end of them. And that is a lot of troop space to sacrifice. That could have been at least 1 or 2 more golems down the center sent in late. They might have gone in with a queen, but instead 39-40% damage, and the last golem and a giant from the clan castle too late to save the queen. She is down. The town hall not even really threatened at this point. So really, if you take a look at how this attack unfolded, had it been just simply a mass golem attack, especially because both of my infernos are set to multi right now, you're going to steamroll through my base. I think even with 1 single target inferno, it wouldn't make that much of a difference. And now this attacker is stuck struggling, trying to save 50%, but only a couple of minions and archers left, even though there are some unprotected structures around the outside. It is just not going to be quite enough to do it. And had there been 1 or 2 more golems, even if they had wandered around towards the outside, they would have lived longer. They would have distracted those defenses like the mortar, the wizard tower that you see near the bottom of the screen, that archer tower especially, and that definitely would have led to 1 or 2 more percentage points and a win, instead of, yes, a 36 trophy loss, and not even that much loot lost either, which does happen in Champions League. You do see farming from time to time, but now here I am trying to stay fresh, going up against a base that we used to see more of bases like this with all of those different compartments. Nowadays we see so much more open bases. I would not be surprised if we see more of this type of base start to appear again, as the big open bases like the Nemesis base are just getting crushed by the golems. Now, I moved my units in and definitely sent them in too small of a pattern right here. The golems just too tightly grouped. Probably should have sent some in up on the far left corner of this village as well. The jump spells too close together. As you can see, just not opening enough enclosures to give me that 50%. Now, I've sent in, I did bring a couple of witches against my own best advice that I was just talking about, but everybody heading in towards the center. And again, you'll notice the witch is not really following with the rest of the units. A giant confrontation right in front of the town hall, freezing everything. You can see the dragon out of the clan castle, got a poison spell, a rage spell in there. It's just a giant mess. And right there, here is where I'm just about ready to panic. I see my king is going down. The queen has not taken a lot of damage yet, but she is off towards the side and is below 50%. Doesn't look good, as I say, as the smoke clears. You can see the dragon is still up, everybody is down, and now the golems have left the building. The golems are back to the outside, inexplicably. Not sure why they didn't head towards the Inferno Tower behind the town hall, but they wander back out to the front, and luckily that does give me a chance to start deploying some of those units around the outside, the left side of this village. The queen looks like she might be headed towards the town hall. She is on her least favorite target, a wall, and she eventually gets through it, and now she's on that gold storage, working closer to 50%. Here comes the queen towards the town hall, and luckily it was already badly damaged. She finishes it off, gets me that first star, and with the royal cloak is going to grab a couple more percentage points. My wizards minions on the far left are trying to get the job done, but the last golem has fallen, so no more meat shields, and I'm only at 47% damage. The minion looks like it will get through that gold mine, thankfully. So we drop another minion or two over here, 48% damage, the elixir collector for 49, and yes, just out of range of the archer tower and the wizard tower, one more elixir collector, 50%, just barely grabbing that second star. We wrap up this attack, and I walk away 15 trophies richer. Again, not that concerned with trophies, just trying to brush up on my skills, and that definitely not a pretty attack. So now we move on to a more popular Nemesis base, and I've brought the mass golems and 4 earthquake spells. Now I started out with the earthquake spells right on the town hall, the inferno, the expo, so they've seen a lot of damage already. Now I realize I can't open 2 more entry points to that center enclosure, so I've just sent the golems up against the wall here and pulled out the clan castle troops. So kind of a small attacking force up on the top left gets rid of the clan castle troops, and now I'll send in the majority of my troops right at the bottom, closer to the earthquake opening that I created at the beginning of the attack. Now I still have a couple of more of the golems in store, waiting for these first golems to move in and clear some of these other defensive structures. And I think that's an important key to this style attack, is waiting and have a golem or 2 left behind that can come in with your heroes. And here they come, the last 2 golems, the king and the queen, over the jump spell. Now they're not going to exactly behave as we'd like to ideally see them, but it does work out pretty well in that the golems are going to move off towards the right, and the heroes move in right towards that town hall. Well-timed free spell, grabs that inferno tower, gives the king and the queen time to take out some more structures. There's the barbarian king, and again, 2 multi-target infernos, so we didn't have to worry about the king just getting vaporized, and he actually runs out of range of those defenses, saves his own life a little bit longer, works perfectly distracting all of those defenses. The queen, untouched, is going to take out that town hall, and at the same time we hit 50% damage, so 2 stars on a Nemesis base, just showing that patience, waiting to deploy those last units, not panicking, tends to work out. And even here, as you watch that golem on the far right, if I needed to get past 50% at that point, a couple more units on the right hand side, tons of unprotected structures way off to the right, but again, not needed. 64% damage, well past 2 stars. About 2/3 of this village goes down, and it feels awfully good to take out my old Nemesis base with an attack like this. Definitely trying to keep my skills polished for at some point when these travels end, I am definitely pushing back up to 5,000 trophies and getting myself that Legend League badge. So thank you guys once again for sticking around to the end of this episode. Don't forget to check out my other episodes. Thank you for putting up with my somewhat scratchy voice, and I will see you guys again tomorrow with more full attacks.
Galadon! 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 Come on!